You think heat disappears when the fire goes out, but that's only true if the people who built your house forgot the oldest trick in survival. Don't heat the air. Heat the earth, the stone, the floor, the bones of the building itself. Because long before thermostats, gas furnaces, electric grids, and those little space heaters that smell like burning dust and financial regret, people were keeping entire homes warm with something most modern homeowners would walk right past and never recognize: a buried heater, an underground heat system, a slow-breathing thermal beast that could swallow one hot fire and release comfort for hours, sometimes days. And in a blackout, when your modern house turns into a refrigerator with Wi-Fi, this forgotten idea suddenly stops looking primitive and starts looking terrifyingly smart. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Cold does not politely enter your home through one doorway. It attacks from every direction. It steals heat through your roof, leaks under your doors, crawls through your walls, and rises from the floor like a ghost with unfinished business. That's why people in older civilizations became obsessed with heating from below. The Romans had their hypocausts. The Koreans had ondol floors. Other cultures built masonry heaters, buried flues, stove benches, and earth-warmed rooms. Different names, different materials, same survival principle. Put the heat where the body actually feels it, then store it in mass so it cannot escape quickly. Air is a terrible savings account for warmth. Stone, clay, brick, and packed earth are the vault. Imagine one freezing night with no power. The furnace is dead. The pipes are nervous. Your phone battery is at 9%. Which is modern society's version of hearing wolves outside the cave. You light a fireplace, and for 10 minutes you feel like a genius. Beautiful flames, orange glow, little crackle, very cozy apocalypse aesthetic. Then you step 3 feet away and realize the room is still cold. Worse, most of that fire is racing straight up the chimney, dragging warm indoor air with it like it owes money. Traditional open fireplaces can feel romantic, but survival does not care about romance. Survival cares about efficiency, heat storage, and whether your toes still function by sunrise. The underground heater solved this problem by slowing everything down. Instead of letting hot smoke shoot directly outside, builders forced it to travel through channels beneath floors, inside benches, or through thick masonry passages. Hot gases moved through a hidden maze, scraping heat into stone and earth before escaping. That stored heat then radiated upward slowly, not a blast, not a fan. Not that dry furnace breath that turns your throat into cardboard. Radiant heat. The kind of heat your body understands instantly, because it warms surfaces first. Your feet, your blanket, the walls around you, and those surfaces quietly warm the air afterward. This is why a room heated by thermal mass feels different. It does not feel like hot air fighting cold air. It feels like the cold has lost permission to exist. The first survival insight is thermal mass, and once you understand it, you start judging modern homes differently. A lightweight room heats quickly and dies quickly. Drywall, thin floors, hollow doors, they warm up fast, but they also forget fast. Brick, stone, clay, packed earth, and concrete are slow thinkers. They take longer to heat, but once warm, they keep paying you back. That is why ancient heaters were often built into the floor or lower structure of the home. Heat rises, yes, but more importantly, bodies lose comfort fast when the ground under them is cold. Warm feet can make a cool room feel livable. Cold feet can make a warm room feel like punishment. The second survival insight is that the fire itself was not the main event. The burn was just the charging phase. A modern person looks at flames and says, "There's the heat." Older builders looked at heavy masonry and said, "No, there's the battery." They wanted a hot, clean burn that pushed intense heat into the heater's channels. Then they wanted the fire to end. That sounds backward until you realize a long, smoky fire wastes fuel and creates creosote, smoke, and danger. A short, hot burn can be cleaner and more efficient because it drives heat into the mass quickly. Then the heater coasts. In a survival situation, coasting matters. Coasting means less woodcut, less exposure outside, less smoke signature, less attention, less exhaustion. And exhaustion, listen, is the silent killer in winter. People don't freeze because they didn't understand cold. They freeze because cold made every basic task cost 5 times more energy. Now picture the layout. The heater is not just a stove sitting in a corner like a metal box with anger issues. It is part of the home's anatomy. The firebox might be at one end. The hot gases move through buried ducts or underfloor channels. The floor becomes warm. A bench becomes warm. A sleeping platform becomes warm. The house stops relying on one hot spot and starts creating a warm zone. That is the third survival insight. Distribute heat where people actually live. Not the ceiling. Not the chimney. Not one pretty flame for guests. The living zone. The sleeping zone. The cooking zone. The place where a child curls under blankets. The place where wet socks need to dry. The place where someone sick needs steady warmth through the night. And that brings us to biology, Because warmth is not just comfort. Warmth is decision-making. When your body gets cold, it starts rationing blood. Fingers become clumsy. Your thinking narrows. You stop planning and start reacting. Mild hypothermia can make people confused, slow, weirdly calm, even careless. That is why a stable heat source changes everything in a collapse or blackout. It does not just protect your body. It protects your judgment. A home with slow radiant heat gives you sleep, and sleep gives you discipline. Discipline keeps you from doing stupid things, like burning treated wood indoors, blocking ventilation, or bringing a charcoal grill into the living room because it'll just be for a minute. Famous last words, usually followed by carbon monoxide doing its invisible little murder dance.